Hello and good evening, friends, and welcome to the Week 9 edition of TXN Sports World NFL Friday. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined, as always, by good old MF Michael Fletcher and Michael Bullock. Week 9 of the NFL season kicked off last night on Amazon Prime Video as part of Thursday Night Football. Solid matchup here. The Tennessee Titans went up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Pittsburgh Steelers won the game by a score of 20-16. Steelers improved to 5-3 on the season. Titans dropped to 3-5. For the Pittsburgh Steelers, Kenny Pickett was 19 of 30 for 160 yards and a touchdown. Jaylen Warren led the team with 88 yards rushing. Najee Harris had a rushing touchdown. Deontay Johnson, a receiving touchdown. 7 catches, 90 yards to lead the way. Defense recorded 4 sacks here. 4 sacks for the defense. 2 sacks for Highsmith, 1 sack for TJ Watt, and a sack for Golden. Quan Alexander with a game-ending interception to seal the game for Pittsburgh. Will Levis, who had a great game against Atlanta last Sunday. Another solid effort here, 22 of 39, 262 yards. Unfortunately, he had an interception and no touchdown passes. Derrick Henry, rushing touchdown, 17 carries, 75 yards. Phillips led the team with 68 yards receiving. DeAndre Hopkins had 60 right behind him. Defense didn't do anything. No sacks, no picks, nothing significant. So that's the story on that. The Pittsburgh Steelers will be back in action on Sunday, November 12th as part of Week 10. And they will be hosting the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay will be coming into Pittsburgh on November 12th. As for the Tennessee Titans, also on November 12th, they will be on the road against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So that's the story there. Nice win for Pittsburgh. 5-3, keeping pace with the Baltimore Ravens in the AFC North. The AFC North suddenly making some noise here. Baltimore leads it. You have Pittsburgh now at 5-3, and the other 2 teams, Cincinnati and Cleveland, are both 4-3. Cleveland has a gimme game against Arizona, which we'll be talking about. It's our Zonk game of the week. Whereas the Cincinnati Bengals, they got a tough game coming up against my Buffalo Bills, and every win counts because that AFC North is up for grabs. I mean, yes, Baltimore is the leader right now, but Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and Cincinnati all nipping on the heels of the Ravens. So every win counts. That's all there is to say. And a nice win for Pittsburgh there. Deontay Johnson was in a touchdown rut. He finally got out of it last night with that winning touchdown, and then Quan Alexander with the late interception to seal it. Big win for Pittsburgh as they keep pace with Baltimore in the North, and of course remain in the thick of the wild card hunt. So further down the road, this could be a bit. I mean, we could end up looking back at this game as a possible turning point. So not much more to say here. Pittsburgh wins. So good old MF Michael Fletcher, come on in. Last night, Thursday Night Football, Pittsburgh Steelers defeating the Tennessee Titans 20-16. Steelers keeping pace in that loaded AFC North.
Yeah, absolutely a big win for the Steelers. They needed this win more than anything else. And the thing was, the biggest takeaway from the game is that Matt Canna, the coordinator, coming down. What were we going to get from him? And it was still somewhat of the typical Pittsburgh Steeler game, the way that they've been playing, but at the end of the day, they did what they needed it to do. They got the job done. They got a big victory here. So, yeah, like you said, Pittsburgh stays in front. They stay, within that range of the division. And yeah, this was a big win for them. They needed this more than anything else. So, no, big win for the Steelers. Well done. And yeah, Michael Bullock, I toss it off to you.
Yeah, like you said, it was definitely a big win for Pittsburgh. It definitely keeps them on pace in that loaded AFC North. I mean, a lot of things had to go their way, and that's what happened here. I mean, I mean, as the Pittsburgh Steelers, like you said, trying to stay in contention in that AFC North and also for a spot in the postseason. And also, let's not forget another thing, guys, to once again have Mike Tomlin clinch another winning record, because in his time with Pittsburgh, he's never had a losing season during his tenure as head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So who knows? But yeah, definitely a big win for Pittsburgh. And yeah, Tennessee, I mean, a tough loss for them. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say except let's get on to the rest of the Week 9 schedule.
You guys ready for the main event? The big one? The game of the week? The game of the year in the AFC? Because that's how we're going to start it off. Oh, man. It seems like this show's a little bit ass backwards because the main event's starting it off. So here we go, boys. Since the schedule came out, we have been chomping at the bits to talk about this game, and we're finally going to do that right here and right now. As it will be good old MF Michael Fletcher's team, the Miami Dolphins, squaring off against the Kansas City Chiefs from Deutsche Bank Park in Frankfurt, Germany. 9:30 a.m. kickoff on the NFL Network. Now, for those of you who may not have the NFL Network, and this is only for the people of Miami and Kansas City. For Miami and Kansas City, you can watch the game on your respective NBC affiliates, both of you. So Miami, you can watch the game on your NBC affiliate, which is WTVJ NBC Channel 6. And for Kansas City, your NBC affiliate, KSHB NBC Channel 41. Before I go any further, I forgot to mention 4 teams on bye this week: the Denver Broncos, the Detroit Lions, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the San Francisco 49ers. They'll be back next week. But for right now, here we go, boys. Game of the year. The Dolphins and the Chiefs, our biggest game of the year so far on our side of the ledger. Wow, MF, what a game for us to have waiting for us after our World Series commitments. On the call for this one for the NFL Network will be now we got a loaded crew here. We got Rich Eisen, Jason McCourty, Dan Orlovsky, and not one but 2 sideline reporters. Sarah Walsh and Stacey Dales will be roaming the sidelines in Germany. And I believe Kansas City is the favorite here. Kansas City opening up as only a 1.5-point favorite. Series history favors Kansas City 15-13. A little bit of some bad news for MF because Kansas City has won the last 3 meetings in a row against the Miami Dolphins, including the last one, 2020 in Miami. Kansas City won 33-27. The last time the Dolphins beat the Chiefs, it was back in 2011 when Miami went into Arrowhead in Kansas City and ran them out of Arrowhead 31-3. So that's the last time Miami beat Kansas City, 2011. So without any further ado, gentlemen, let's get into this. The Chiefs get their first chance to see what it's like to defend their former receiver Tyreek Hill. The decisions they make and how to cover Miami's biggest threat and how successful those are could well determine the outcome. The Chiefs have at times used L'Jarius Sneed to shadow other top receivers this season, but Hill is in a category of his own. He is leading the league with 1,014 receiving yards, 8 touchdowns, and 382 yards after the catch. The Dolphins will force quarterback Patrick Mahomes to do something he has done only twice in his career: throw multiple interceptions in consecutive games. Mahomes has thrown 8 interceptions this season. After going 3 straight weeks without forcing a turnover, Miami's defense has takeaways in back-to-back games. With the Jalen Ramsey, Xavier Howard defensive back tandem active Sunday, the Dolphins will keep that streak alive against the Chiefs. Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa has 17 straight games with a passing touchdown, the longest active streak in the NFL, and the 4th longest in Dolphins history. Hall of Famer Dan Marino has 3 of their longest streaks with a high of 30 straight. The X factor is Chiefs defensive tackle Chris Jones. There's a matchup advantage here for Jones rushing from edge alignments against Dolphins right tackle Austin Jackson. Jones has a pass rush win rate of 26.2% when rushing off the edge this season. Rashee Rice led all Chiefs wide receivers in snaps played last week against Denver. Over the last 4 games, he has averaged 5 targets and 12.7 fantasy points. The Chiefs offense is expected to rebound in a shootout against Miami, and Rice could play a key role with a favorable matchup against Dolphins slot cornerback Kadir Kohu. Dolphins are 5-0 against the spread as favorites and 1-2 against the spread as underdogs this season. Gentlemen, this is, in the immortal words of Mauro Ranallo, when it comes to the FPI, it is conjoined twins close. Kansas City, FPI favorite, 50.8%, and an average of 0.3 points. Yeah, that's close. But at the end, you can basically round it up to 51% for Kansas City. Very tough to call. This one could most certainly go either way. But if I got to be honest with you, you always go with the champions until they get beat. And for right now, I have to go with the Kansas City Chiefs in this one. I'm going to say 30-24. The Kansas City Chiefs defeat the Miami Dolphins. But would I be surprised if Miami won? Absolutely not. Because this Dolphin team is for real. There is no doubt about that. This coming from a Buffalo Bills fan, this Miami Dolphin team has serious potential. So there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But for right now, I have to go with Kansas City. And they most certainly need a bounce back after that putrid effort in Denver last week. You could say, oh, Patrick Mahomes had the flu. Oh, Taylor Swift wasn't there. Big honking deal. That's all I can say about that. So they took Denver lightly. They looked past them because all they could think about was not only the Miami Dolphins, but their former star receiver, Tyreek Hill. So they look past them. Let's be realistic. They look past Denver. And that's why they got their asses handed to them. Wasn't because of Patrick Mahomes having flu-like symptoms and all that. And it wasn't because Swifty wasn't there either. Please. So, but enough of that nonsense. Let's get to the business at hand. 30-24, Kansas City defeats Miami. And now I'm going to bring in the man. Here he is. MF, our baseball playoff commitments are done. What a way for us to come back to the NFL than for us to have not only our biggest game of the week so far, but the game of the year in the AFC. A possible preview of the AFC Championship game. Very possible. You never know. So, and as to Phil Simms, to my Jim Nance, now more than ever, do that thing I like in this main event. Hello, friends.
All right. So first off, let's get the obvious out of the way. Robert Hunt, Brandon Jones out for the Miami Dolphins. They are not playing. They will not play. They're out due to injury. Robert Hunt, hamstring injury. Brandon Jones is still under concussion protocol. He is not cleared to play. He will not play. Teron Armstead may play. That might be huge. All the following guys could play on Sunday, which is Teron Armstead. He's been out with a knee injury. He suffered that knee injury in the game against Buffalo. Braxton Berrios has been dealing with a hamstring, limited in practice, but they're saying he's going to go. Justin Bethel might play. River Craycraft could play. Yes, they did. There was talk about Xavier Howard. They were talking about the groin injury. He is saying he's going. There's nothing to worry about. Nick Needham might play for the Dolphins. He might be coming back from an Achilles injury. He suffered that Achilles injury last year. Was gone up to this point. If this is his season debut, what a hell of a way to be making your debut against the Kansas City Chiefs in Frankfurt, the biggest game of the year for the Dolphins up to this point, and a must-need game. Darren Smythe, he's dealing with an ankle injury, did not practice on Wednesday, did practice today and yesterday. He's listed as questionable. He might go. Connor Williams, he's been out with a groin injury. However, all indications from Dolphin camp, he will play on Sunday. That's a huge situation. He's the center. He does the ball exchanges for Tua Tagovailoa, and on top of that, he is the best protector for that O-line. That's the one thing that I know a lot of Dolphin fans have been freaking about. It's the offensive line has been decimated with injury. But if Teron Armstead comes back, if Connor Williams comes back, that could actually help the Dolphins. That will neutralize your offensive line. That's especially what we're going to need going into the game against Kansas City, because there's some ball hawks and some guys who like to rush the passer against the Dolphins. Other remaining guys, injury report-wise, other remaining guys, Jalen Phillips wound it up on the injury report, but he is set to go. Raheem Mostert will play. Alec Ingle will play. And Jalen Waddle will play as well for the Miami Dolphins. When it comes to Kansas City, right now, the only major injury that they had is that they got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He will not play. He is out. He's officially been ruled out. He will not play. Basically, all the other injuries that they had were all kind of minor. Hell, Patrick Mahomes ended up in the injury report. However, Mahomes will play on Sunday. That's exactly what we've been hearing. All right. Now, with that all set, Kansas City, I think a lot of people are thinking, Kansas City maybe looked past Denver, was thinking about Miami. Miami's been doing their due diligence. They had a bad loss against Philadelphia. Now they're going up against, had somewhat of a rough time with the Patriots, but at the end, they got a key touchdown at the end. The defense got better and everything else, and they won the game. Now, going into this, there's a lot of factors. Number one, Anthony Florio, you talked about it. The last time Kansas City played against Miami was in Miami. It was a great game. Close matchup. Kansas City won. But if you remember that game, Patrick Mahomes threw 3 INTs to the Dolphins. So there is some pressure there. And with Vic Fangio's defense, now it looks like Vic Fangio has all the dogs to unleash on Sunday. And if that's the case, that might be a blessing in disguise. Then you already know Tyreek Hill. He is livid. He is ready for this game. And he'd already said, look, I got nothing against Kansas City. I got nothing against them. And everything was all business. It was a business decision. I get that. But he was like, I've been waiting for this game since I joined Miami. He's been waiting for this moment to stick it to his former team, to show Andy Reid, to show Patrick Mahomes, to show Travis Kelce, to show all the members of the Chiefs nation, the Chiefs kingdom, the Red Kingdom. This is who I am. This is what I am about. I'm the best effing wide receiver in the National Football League, and I'm going to show it on Sunday. And let me tell you, there's going to be a lot of guys that they're talking about that they're going to go up against. That, certain guys that you can take, some guys you got to neutralize, the whole 9 yards. Now, Miami has to run the football. There needs to be that balance of offense and defense. This is the one game where I wish we had Devon Achane. Even though he is hurt, he is on IR, but if you've been seeing the videos lately, especially a video that I just saw came out today. Dude, this guy could be back. When he comes back from after the bye and going into that second half of the year, this boy is going to be a problem. And he's going to be a problem for every defense because he's got that explosive speed. He's got the cut ability. I'm like, oh my God, I wish you were available for Sunday. We need you, bro. Because as you notice, offensively, we've been sputtering a little bit. The run game has gone quiet. The run game that was so dominant, so powerful, so amazing. Guys, we haven't done that great lately. We've been held under 100 yards. I think 100 yards in the past 2 games. 45 yards against Philadelphia. I think it was like 60 or 70 against New England. Like, we did not have a breakout performance defensive, rush-wise. Passing-wise, Tua just needs to continue what he's been doing. Find the open man, get the guys to the open, stretch the defense out. As long as that O-line holds, stretch the defense out and let them feast. When it comes to defense, this is where the biggest test is going to be because you know Mahomes. Mahomes is going to try to everything in his power to try to, run the ball. He's going to try to throw it deep. Kansas City must get a run attack because that's one of Miami's big vulnerabilities. They do let a lot of rush yards get piled up. If you start running the football, that opens up the play action. And if Mahomes gets in that, forget it. Miami's are goners. They're out. There's no way you're going to beat Kansas City. You got to have to neutralize them. And the thing is, that back four is going to be very, very, very crucial. As a matter of fact, there is even talk and rumors that Travis Kelce might be lined up 1-on-1 against Jalen Ramsey. Ramsey is the big target guy. Ramsey is your lockdown defender. He is the one that's going to put you on Revis Island and shut you down. He's going to have to find a way to get Kelce, to get after Kelce, to take him out of the routes, to try to put some pressure on. And we saw first game out, Jalen Ramsey went up against that Patriot D and got a forced fumble and picked off Mac Jones in that game last week. So you already know he's ready. He's good to go. Miami just has to figure out a way, and same blueprint that Denver brought, they should have that advantage. Plus, one other thing that also I believe is going to help Miami. Miami left to go to Germany on Monday. They got there on Tuesday. So they already got acclimated with the time difference. They got acclimated with the culture. They're focused on the job and everything else. Kansas City got in on Germany Friday morning. They literally got to Germany by Friday morning. They got there earlier, Germany time in the afternoon, early Monday morning, I think around 6 or 7 a.m. U.S. time. That's about 2 or 3 o'clock, about 3 o'clock over in Germany because it's a 6-hour time difference between us and them. That is going to be very huge and very influential for Miami. They're focused, they're guided, they're ready. It's not we're happy to be in Germany, we're glad to be there. No, we're here for business. We're here for what. If you're a Miami Dolphin fan, this is the game you wanted. The game against Philadelphia, look, bad loss. We could say the refs screwed us. It doesn't matter. because that was AFC versus NFC. In the overall grand scheme of things, that doesn't affect us in the playoff picture. This one does. If we win this game, we become possibly, now depending on other results that happens, we could end up as the number 1 team in the AFC. Whoever would have thought at this point in the year, going into a bye, that the Dolphins would be at the top of the division. Not just the division, but at the top of the AFC. And you heard everybody about the Bills, about the Ravens, about the Bengals, about the Jaguars, about Kansas City, and everybody was talking about how Miami was good, but they're not. They don't take the next step. As a matter of fact, if you remember during the preseason polls and all that stuff, they had Miami third behind Buffalo and the Jets. So no, this is a mission statement. This is our time to silence the critics and to finally rewrite a wrong that happened a couple of years ago down in South Beach, down in the Hard Rock, when Miami played the game of their lives and still did not beat Kansas City. Kansas City was fortunate that day. There's a wounded animal on the other side. And if Miami has all their horses, and this is the only way we beat them, if they have everybody that I said in that injury report, if they can all go, the Dolphins win. Miami stuns the NFL world, silence the critics, will no longer have to hear that garbage about, oh, Miami can't win the big one. Miami can't win the big one. Yeah, well, this will be a big middle finger to everybody who doubted the Dolphins from the very beginning this upcoming year. So we got that going. If Kansas City wins, they cement their place as the top team in the AFC. Everybody will continue to say, oh, well, all right. The Denver game was a blip. The Denver game was a letdown. It's just business as usual. Kansas City does their thing, and they'll pick up right where they left off. Yeah, Anthony?
I should have mentioned this when I gave it to you. If Kansas City wins, it's pretty much status quo in the AFC, pretty much.
Yeah.
But if Miami wins, then what?
Then basically the floodgates open. Basically, if Miami wins, then the AFC becomes more wide open than ever before. And all those teams that I talked about, they all are looking at Miami at that point. And let me say it, the Dolphins' schedule does get a little easier at towards the end, because we still got to play the Jets twice. I think the only major test that we're going to have up to towards the very end is maybe Dallas. Baltimore will definitely be a problem. And then we got Buffalo, last game of the season, but this is in Miami. And who knows, Anthony, that game could decide the AFC East on that night.
And
who knows?
And don't be surprised if that ends up being that final game of the season on Sunday Night Football.
It could. Very possible. It kind of depends on, there's a lot of factors that needs to go down prior to that game. But honestly, truthfully, for right here, right now, I've heard the point spread being that close is a virtual pick'em. They basically are saying, and this is coming from Vegas, yes, Kansas City should win, but with the way Miami's been playing, dude, this could go either way. We're not really sure. I like that because it gives enough motivation for the Dolphins to say, you guys as dogs? Okay, let's show you how we're going to get this done. I believe Miami is more focused. I think they are more ready. And with the injuries with all the injuries that they've had, and they've been depleted on the offensive line, but with all of them coming back, practically almost all of them coming back for this game, Dolphins beat Kansas City 31-27. The Dolphins knocks off the Chiefs and cements their place as the team in the AFC. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Oh my! I mean, I don't know how in the world I'm going to top that. I mean, that's why good old MF Michael Fletcher is our hype man, and he really hyped his team. Man, like you said, this is a big game here. I mean, this is a big moment here for Miami. I mean, this could solidify themselves as the new top dog in the AFC. They're saying, yeah. I mean, Kansas City is the defending Super Bowl champions, but we're the ones that are going to take them. We want to be the top dog in the AFC. We are the ones that want to go to Las Vegas in Super Bowl 58. And can you imagine if that were to happen, Fletch? If they go to the Super Bowl, oh my! I mean, I can only imagine how you're gonna feel if that happens.
I will be it just to get to the Super Bowl would be awesome, but dude, I will be an all-service wreck. That whole that next 2 weeks, it's gonna be weighing on my mind. Because I was I was a wreck going through the World Series. I've been wrecks going through the NCAA tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
I've never got to see the Miami Dolphins in my lifetime get to the Super Bowl.
You were a
My
baby
dad
last time.
has.
You were a baby, dude. I mean,
Dude, I was not. Yeah. I was not
you
even
weren't even 2
born.
years old. You were like a year and a half old.
Yeah. So I don't remember it. I
Almost
don't
50
remember.
years ago. Super Bowl 19 against San Francisco, Marino and Montana.
So I don't remember that.
Nope.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, this would be a big moment, and just think for Tyreek Hill. I mean, he's playing with a huge chip on his shoulder because, I mean, I'm sure he's acting professional, saying, "Look, I got mad respect for Kansas City. Look, it was a business decision, but you know, Fletch, somewhere inside, he wants to make Kansas City. He wants to make Andy Reid pay for letting him go, letting him. I mean, nobody's going to be more motivated than Tyreek Hill. And another one that I think is going to be motivated, Fletch, Tua Tagovailoa, because so many people are talking about Patrick Mahomes being the best quarterback in football, and not just him, but other names like Joe Burrow or Josh Allen. This is a moment for Tua Tagovailoa saying, "What about me? What about everything I'm doing?" But a win for him, and I'll say this to you, Fletch, I think he'll solidify himself as the best quarterback in the NFL today. No doubt. So, now, when it comes to this, I have to break the tie. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I got to be the one to do this. Do I go with Anthony Florio and the Kansas City Chiefs? Or do I go with MF and his Miami Dolphins? I'm sorry, Anthony Florio. I got to go with MF's Miami Dolphins.
Fair enough.
They got the offensive firepower, and I think they got guys on defense who can make big plays, especially Jalen Ramsey. And my team found out the hard way.
Oh, yeah.
And I think they're going to have him on Travis Kelce the whole game. And I think he's going to shut him down. So Miami Dolphins win this game, and Tua Tagovailoa solidifies himself as the best quarterback in the NFL. And I think, and I'll even go one step further, and Fletch, you're going to love what I'm about to say here. I think he should be the front runner for the most valuable player in the NFL. I know, but then again, you could also make a case for Tyreek Hill too, with the kind of season he's having. I mean, you got two guys on the Miami Dolphins, but better than that, actually, you got three. I mean, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and Tua Tagovailoa. I mean, could you imagine the three of them maybe up for MVPs?
I will say right now that I'll give you Tua, but I do believe Tyreek is probably the front runner right now because of already halfway through the year and he's already got 1,000 yards receiving. Like he crossed over the 1,000 yards. And that was the mission that he wanted. Yep. He wanted 2,000 receiving yards. As a matter of fact, I think he's trying to go for the all-time record, the most receiving yards in a season. He's trying to go for that record, and right now, he is well on his way to break that record. And I do believe, and I openly predict, that I think he'll get 100 receiving yards again when he goes up against Kansas City on Sunday, because I do believe he'll get. I could see maybe like 100, 150 for Tyreek Hill because he is motivated.
The all-time record. The all-time.
You know what?
Hold on, Bullock. The all-time record for the most receiving yards in an NFL season. Hall of Famer Calvin Megatron Johnson, 2012 Detroit Lions, 1,964.
Yeah, that record's gonna fall. That record's gonna fall.
I agree. And I'll even go one further, Fletch, when it comes to this game. I would not be shocked if Tyreek Hill goes for 200 yards receiving. Forget 100 and 150. I think he's going to go for 200 yards because of that motivation that he's going up against his former team that traded him away. I mean, that's what I think. So I'm sorry, Florio. You're lone wolfing this one. You don't have to do the thing there. You don't have to do it. I'm not going to make you do it. So
I wasn't going to anyway.
Oh, good. I mean, well, I wasn't gonna force you to do it anyway. So Miami wins, and they make an ultimate statement, not just in the AFC, but to the rest of the National Football League. It's yours, Florio.
To put it to bed, very simply put, if Kansas City wins, the AFC remains status quo. It's simple as that. Miami wins, there's a new sheriff in town. So that's all there is. And the balance of power will most certainly shift in the AFC, and business is going to damn sure pick up. So all those other teams are in major trouble if that happens. Buffalo's in trouble. Cincinnati's in trouble. Baltimore, Jacksonville, what have you. All right. With that being said, let's move on to the first of the 1:00 games now. Fox has this first one. The Minnesota Vikings squaring off against the Atlanta Falcons, Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. On Fox, of course, and on the call for this one will be Chris Myers, Mark Schlereth, and Christina Pink. And the spread favors. Whoops, this thing keeps bumping up on me. Atlanta opening up as a 4.5-point favorite. Minnesota leads the all-time series 19-11. Their last meeting was 2020 in Minnesota. Atlanta won 40-23, snapping a 4-game losing streak to Minnesota. Last meeting in Atlanta was 2017. Minnesota won 14-9. Atlanta last beat Minnesota at home in 2011, 24-14. But MF, as you lead off on this one with Minnesota and Atlanta, both teams no longer have their starting quarterbacks. Desmond Ridder benched for Atlanta. Taylor Heineke, now the man in Atlanta. And, of course, what happened in Minnesota, a lot more serious. Kirk Cousins tore his Achilles, done for the season. And you've got this relative newcomer, Jaron Hall, that's going to be the new starting quarterback for Minnesota. Wow.
Yeah, I mean it's been rough. It's been rough. I don't think there's much of an argument here. I think a lot of people were a little shocked that this is how it played out. But at the end of the day, yeah, there's a lot that's gonna be made about this game, and to me, honestly, God, I feel so bad for Kirk Cousins, man. That is hard. That's harsh. Um, I wish him for a speedy recovery. Obviously, I'm praying for his for him to make a full recovery and to be back next year. But at the end of the day, you know, you got to do what you got to do. You got to play how you're gonna play. Honestly, man, I don't know, man. I kind of feel like I think the Minnesota injury is too much to overcome. I think Atlanta's gonna win it, because I just feel like that's how I kind of feel like this game's gonna go. So I got Atlanta winning. There's really nothing more to say, and yeah, Anthony, Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you. Atlanta wins.
Yeah, I got Atlanta winning as well. I mean, like you said, I feel bad for Kirk Cousins. I mean, a torn Achilles, that's a pretty bad injury. And I wish him nothing but the best, and hopefully he recovers quickly enough, and hopefully he'll be ready for next season. But yeah, it's just going to be too much for Minnesota to overcome here. So yeah, I got the Atlanta Falcons winning this one. So it's yours, Florio.
And let's also not forget, Minnesota's also without their all-pro receiver Justin Jefferson as well. So, oh boy, that's even worse. So, if you like unknowns, this game is for you. Both Atlanta and Minnesota are starting new quarterbacks. Taylor Heineke in place of Desmond Ridder, who was benched, and Jaron Hall in for Kirk Cousins, torn Achilles. He's done for the year. Both played last week, but how they handle a full week of prep as the starters, no one will truly know until Sunday. Heineke has 25 career starts, mostly with Washington, under his belt, while Hall is a rookie out of BYU, making his first career start. It'll be the third rookie quarterback Atlanta will face in their first ever start this season. The others are Carolina's Bryce Young in week 1 and Tennessee's Will Levis last week. The over-under on this game is 37.5, but the teams will combine for fewer than 30 points. The Viking defense is on a roll, having limited opponents to 13.3 points a game over the last 3 weeks, while the Falcons felt compelled this week to elevate their backup quarterback, Taylor Heineke, to revive their offense. The Vikings will start Hall, who will not have Justin Jefferson with a hamstring to throw to, and might not be able to count on a running game that is averaging 73 yards a game, the second lowest in the NFL. Both teams enter with a 4-4 record. 8 of the 13 teams that started 5-4 in the last 2 seasons made the playoffs. Only 2 of the 8 teams that started 4-5 in the last 2 seasons made the playoffs. X factor is Falcons safety Jesse Bates III. The Falcons will use late movement and disguise from 2 high shells, with Bates spinning down to jump in breakers against Hall. While the Vikings on the ball more with rookie Hall under center, they will face a Falcon defense that ranks 8th in run stop win rate. Falcons are 1-6 against the spread in their last 7 games. Minnesota, slight FPI favorite, almost very similar to Kansas City. 50.8% by an average of 0.3 points. 51% pretty much for Minnesota. But at the end of the night, I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings to win as well. Or I'm sorry, the Atlanta Falcons to win. My mistake. I also have Atlanta winning this game. I'm going to say 24-14, Atlanta defeats Minnesota. Number 2 game of the week on the AFC, on our side of the ledger. And you thought Miami and Kansas City was good. Here's another good one. The Seattle Seahawks squaring off against the Baltimore Ravens from M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland on CBS. Hello, friends. Jim Nance, Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson will be on the call for this game. And the spread favors, as soon as I can find it here, Baltimore opening up as a 6-point favorite, a touchdown favorite for Baltimore. The series is tied at 3-3. It's a 3-3 series. Their last meeting was 2019 in Seattle. Baltimore won 30-16, snapping a 3-game losing streak to Seattle. Last meeting in Baltimore was 2015. Seattle blew Baltimore out of the water, 35-6 beatdown. And then Baltimore's last win at home against Seattle was 2003. They won a 5-star classic of a game, 44-41 in sudden death overtime. So there isn't much more to say here. Michael Bullock, come on in. You started off. The number 2 game of the week on our side of the ledger. Cross-flex game on CBS. Seattle and Baltimore. Should be a great one.
Yeah, this definitely should be a good one here, and a really and a really big test for the Seahawks against a team like Baltimore, especially Lamar Jackson here. I mean, yeah, they definitely got their test trying to defend this guy, and especially his receivers out there. So, look, if this game was in Seattle, I would give the Seahawks a chance and maybe a chance to pull this one out, but it's in Baltimore, so I got to go with the Baltimore Ravens to win this one. So what's yours, Florio?
Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson has thrived under pressure, producing the highest yards per attempt, 10.2, and second highest completion percentage, 55% when under duress. He faces a Seahawks pass rush that ranks 10th in pressure rate, 32%, and has recorded the 5th most sacks this season, 26. Seahawks running backs Kenneth Walker III and Zach Charbonnet will combine for at least 30 carries. Charbonnet has made a case for more work after gaining a season-high 53 yards on only 5 attempts last week. The rookie second-round pick hasn't had more than 9 attempts in a game yet, and he and Walker haven't combined for more than 27. But that should change Sunday as the Seahawks try to take pressure off quarterback Geno Smith, who has thrown 5 interceptions over his last 3 games. Baltimore's defense has allowed the lowest QBR and fewest yards per attempt when using zone coverage this season, while allowing 0 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. For Seattle, Smith ranks top 10 in the NFL in QBR and yards per attempt when using zone coverage. The X factor is Ravens wide receiver Zay Flowers. Look for him to catch some screen passes on run-pass option concepts. Flowers has 17 screen receptions this season, and the Ravens can take the numbers advantages on the perimeter to get Flowers loose in space. Ravens have scored 61% of their touchdowns on the ground, second highest rate in the league. In consecutive games, Gus Edwards has surpassed 14 rushing attempts and scored 20-plus fantasy points. Ravens are 5-11 against the spread as home favorites since 2021, most home against the spread losses of any team. But the FPI loves Baltimore in this one. Just about 70% going with the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens. High scoring game. Baltimore will pull it out. 31-24. The Baltimore Ravens defeat the Seattle Seahawks in what I believe will be a 5-star shootout in Baltimore on Sunday. So not much more to say. MF, come on in. If not for the big game in Germany, this would have been our game of the week. Seattle and Baltimore, 2 dynamic offenses. Boy, is this going to be a fun number 2 game of the week for us.
Yeah, this is going to be a great battle, no doubt about it. Great game coming up. And the thing is that at the end of the day, I kind of feel like this is I kind of feel like Baltimore is definitely turned it around, and everybody's talking about them now, being a really good wagon, a really strong team. I think the Ravens win it. I think Ravens at home, definitely the perfect spot. So yeah, give me the Baltimore Ravens to win it. And Anthony, back to you.
All right, guys, we got to move on to the nasty business now. The Zonk game of the week on our side of the ledger. This is our dud game of the week, as it will be the Arizona Cardinals squaring off against the Cleveland Browns from First Energy Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio. You can find this game, of course, also on CBS. And for CBS, working this game will be Spiro Ditas, Adam Archuleta, and Amanda Renner. Cleveland leads the all-time series 33-16 with 3 ties. And Arizona has won the last 5 meetings in a row against Cleveland, including the last one, 2021 in Cleveland. Arizona dominated 37-14. The Cleveland Browns have not beaten the Arizona Cardinals overall and at home since 2003. 2003, the last time Cleveland beat Arizona, and they did it in grand style. 44-6 beatdown in 2003. So, all right. So, Zonk game of the week, fellas. Here we go. Just looking for. All right. The Cardinals and Browns enter this game with massive uncertainty at quarterback. Rookie Clayton Tune will likely be making his debut for Arizona, though Kyler Murray is healthy again and could be ready to play. The Browns, meanwhile, are still wondering if Deshaun Watson will be back from his shoulder injury or if PJ Walker will make his third start in 4 games. If Tune indeed gets his first career start, he will throw for fewer than 150 yards. The Browns will certainly pin their ears back and get after the rookie. The Browns' top-rated defense allows just 163.3 passing yards a game and will give Tune his welcome to the NFL moment. The Browns' offense has averaged 155 rushing yards in their last 3 outings since the bye week, most in the league. Arizona allows 130.6 rushing yards a game, 8th most in the NFL. X factor, Myles Garrett. He will align on both edges as a pass rusher, meaning he will see both Arizona tackles DJ Humphries and Paris Johnson Jr. And he owns a pass rush win rate of 31.3%, second best in the league, only behind Dallas's Micah Parsons. Browns receiver Amari Cooper is positioned for success against the Cardinal defense that gives up the 11th most fantasy points a game to receivers. Cardinals are 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 games after starting the season 3-0 against the spread. 69% going with the Cleveland Browns to win this game. I am going with the Cleveland Browns. You can make an argument that this is the lock of the week. Cleveland is an 8-point favorite, I forgot to mention. So 69% FPI for Cleveland. Cleveland rolls 20-9. The Cleveland Browns. Easy win over the Arizona Cardinals. So not much more to say. MF, Arizona, Cleveland, Zonk game of the week for us.
Yeah, and not only that, but Arizona is basically, it's one of those where it can go a number of ways. But yeah, Cleveland will have Deshaun Watson. He actually is medically cleared, and from what I've been told, he will play. So there's nothing more to say. Yeah, give me the Browns to win it. Give me Cleveland to win it, and there's really nothing more to say. So Anthony, it's yours. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I got Cleveland winning this one as well. I mean, even though it looks like Deshaun Watson is not going to play this week, look, Arizona's just having another rough year, and obviously Kyler Murray looks like he's getting close to returning, but here's the thing, guys, and Arizona's going nowhere, so what's the point of rushing him back when your team's absolutely going nowhere? I mean, if I were the coach, knowing that my team's not going anywhere, I would just say, you know what? Let's just shut him down for the rest of the season and just go with our backup as the starter. So, I mean, what do you guys think of that?
I wouldn't be against it. I mean, Zona's going nowhere. The healthier Kyler Murray is, the better off. And who knows, if you can get Kyler Murray even healthier for next season, we might have to talk about Arizona as a possible team to watch in the NFC next season. So why not? But then again, if they do that, I mean, some of those experts out there could say, "Oh, they're tanking so they can get the number 1 pick." Yeah, get the what out of here with that nonsense.
Yeah, but the thing is, I mean, do you want to risk the future of
the franchise
of your team,
yeah,
especially a franchise when you got this guy as your number 1 guy? I mean, I would rather have him healthy for next season.
Yeah, and they are 1-7.
But the thing is that at this point in the season, yeah, like you said, there's really no point. But the thing is that is Kyler Murray even the answer? I mean, that's a question that needs to be asked. Is Kyler Murray really your starter, or do you go after a Drake May from North Carolina, or if even possible, if you can get him, Caleb Williams from USC, and mortgage the future as that being the faces of the Arizona Cardinals?
Good point.
That's a good point there. Yeah, that's just something I wanted to bring up.
Of course. No problem. So, your thoughts. Who you got? Who you got?
I said I got Cleveland winning.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear you. All right. So we're all in on Cleveland here. No surprise there. So with that, we move on to the next matchup. MF, you'll be leading it off. Over on the Fox side of the ledger, we got the Los Angeles Rams squaring off against the Green Bay Packers from Lambeau Field in Green Bay. On the call for this game will be Adam Amin, Daryl Moose Johnston, and Pam Oliver. A lot of history between these two franchises. Green Bay leads the all-time series regular season 47-46 with 2 ties. They met, and Green Bay has won each of the last 3 meetings, including playoffs against the Rams. They met last year in Green Bay. Green Bay won 24-12. Rams last beat the Packers in 2018 in Los Angeles, 29-27. The last time the Rams won in Green Bay, got to go back to 2006 when they were the St. Louis Rams, 23-20. That's the last time the Rams won in Lambeau. So with that being said, MF, Rams and Packers at Lambeau. Who you got?
I got to go with the Rams. I like what the Rams have been doing lately. I'm starting to really feel like the honeymoon is over with Love. And look, he's been having very inconsistent Puka Nakua. Of course, you can call Cooper Kupp, Dan Boys, Matt Stafford. I think that this is a game where they could turn it around. So for me, I got to go with the Rams. I think the Rams are going to win this game. They're going to go into Lambeau and make themselves at home, as they would say. So give me the Rams to win it. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I got the LA Rams winning this one as well. I mean, like you said, I mean the Packers, I mean, like you said, they've been struggling with Jordan Love has been inconsistent. And plus the Rams, I mean, it's just good, especially with Puka Nakua, Cooper Kupp. So yeah, I gotta go with the LA Rams to win this one. So it's yours, Florio.
Green Bay opening up as a 3.5. Green Bay actually opening up as a 3.5 point favorite, believe it or not. But doesn't matter though.
I don't understand that.
Yeah, I don't either. I think I might have the reason in just a moment. The Packers' opponents have jumped on them from the start of the games this season, so look for the Rams to continue that trend. Green Bay has gone 5 straight games without a first-half touchdown, tied for the longest streak by a team in the last 10 seasons. However, the Rams might need Matthew Stafford, who is day-to-day because of a thumb injury, to do it. Coach Sean McVay is 3-7 without Matthew Stafford or Jared Goff starting. Packers quarterback Jordan Love ends his interception streak, throwing none on Sunday. He has thrown an interception in 5 straight games, which is the longest streak by a Packers player since Aaron Rodgers did the same in 2010. Love also has a league-high 8 interceptions since the start of Week 3, according to ESPN Stats and Information. But the Rams' defense has just 4 interceptions this season, which is tied for 24th in the NFL. Packers have a minus 59-point differential in first half of games this season. That's tied with the Giants for second worst in the NFL. But Green Bay gets better in the second half. The Packers are plus 43 in the second half, which is the second best margin in the NFL. The X factor is Packers wide receiver Christian Watson. Watson hasn't logged a touchdown catch since Week 4, though he did see 3 end zone targets in last week's loss to Minnesota. Green Bay can isolate Watson in scoring position against the Rams' cornerbacks on fades and in breakers. The Packers' defense allows the 6th most fantasy points a game to running backs. Rams' offensive line ranks 11th in run block win rate, which bodes well for the fantasy outlooks of Darrell Henderson Jr. and Royce Freeman. Packers are 0-4 against the spread in their last 4 games, tied for their longest against the spread losing streak in the last 10 seasons. The last 5-game against the spread losing streak was in 2013, 6 straight. Rams are the FPI favorites, 59% going with the LA Rams. I'm going with the LA Rams as well. My final score, 23-14, the LA Rams over the Green Bay Packers. Next up on our side of it's back to our side of the ledger for another cross flex game. This game came in as our number 6 game of the week. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers squaring off against the Houston Texans from NRG Stadium, formerly Reliant Stadium in Houston. Iron Eagle, Charles Davis, Evan Washburn will have the call for that. Houston leads the all-time series 4-1. Here's the interesting thing here, guys. First meeting was back in 2003. Tampa Bay won that game 16-3. And since every meeting since then, the 4 meetings since then, Houston's won them all, including the last one, 2019 in Tampa. Houston won 23-20. Last meeting in Houston, 2015, Houston won 19-9. Tampa Bay has never won in Houston. So there isn't much more to say. Michael Bullock, you started off. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Houston Texans, our number 6 game of the week, cross flex game. Both teams at 3-4. Who you got?
Yeah, I mean, this should be an interesting game here. But yeah, Texans have, like you said, won the last 4, and Tampa hasn't won since then. I think Tampa's due for a win here, so I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win this one and finally get that first win in a long time against the Houston Texans. So it's yours, Florio.
Houston opening up as a 3-point favorite, just to let you know. It's worth keeping an eye on how Buccaneers coach Todd Bowles attacks Texans rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud on defense, because that could be the determining factor in who wins this game. Why? Because it's a clash of 2 styles. The Buccaneers blitz on 39% of opposing quarterbacks' dropbacks, resulting in a passer rating of 84.1. But Stroud has a passer rating of 117 when blitzed, which ranks the 4th best. Buccaneers will force Stroud to turn the ball over twice. The Texans rookie has done a tremendous job taking care of the football. He has just 1 interception and 3 fumbles, 2 lost this season. But this Buccaneer defense, even amid a 3-game losing streak, is still one of the better units in the league at taking the ball away. Tampa Bay's defense is tied for the 3rd most turnovers, 14, in the NFL this season. Buccaneers are averaging 78 rushing yards a game, which ranks 30th in the NFL, ahead of only Minnesota at 73 and the Las Vegas Raiders 70. The Bucs are the only team to average fewer than 80 rushing yards, 77.2 over the last 2 seasons. The X factor is Texans wide receiver Nico Collins. Houston can scheme up some throws to him against 3 deep zone and create vacated voids for Collins, who has already caught 13 explosive play receptions this season. Buccaneers defense gives up the 5th most passing yards a game and the 10th most fantasy points to quarterbacks. Tampa Bay's defensive front also ranks 26th in pass rush win rate, which bodes well for Stroud and the Texans offense. Texans have lost 5 straight games outright as favorites dating to 2020, 0-2 this season. That is the 2nd longest active streak in the NFL. The Carolina Panthers are at 9 straight. Closest, this is one of the close, another close FPI here. Houston is the FPI favorite, 50.6%, by an average of 0.3 points. With all due respect, Michael Bullock, I respectfully disagree with you. I'm going with the Houston Texans to win this game. My final score, 23-16. The Houston Texans defeat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So with that being said, MF, you're the tiebreaker. Who do you agree with, me in Houston or Bullock in Tampa?
For the first time tonight, I'm caught in this net. All right. Well, I'm going to say it. I got to go Houston Texans. I think the Texans win it. And here's the reason why. Even though I give a lot of credit to Tampa Bay because they gave Buffalo fits, a lot of problems in that game on Thursday night, and they definitely could. But Houston, man, they've been lying under the weeds, and a lot of people don't really know about him. CJ Stroud is the real deal, folks, and he's been amazing. And you know, I gotta say, D'Amico Ryan, what he's been doing as the head coach of this team has also been nothing close of amazing. So yeah, I hate to say it, but I got the Houston Texans winning. So yeah, Texans win. Anthony, back to you.
Ow!
There you go.
I didn't expect it, but I love it.
So, yeah. So there you go. There's the lone wolf. Michael Bullock pulled it out. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. All right. Let's move on to the next game here. This will be over on Fox, as it will feature the Washington Commanders squaring off against Michael Bullock's New England Patriots from Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. This game on Fox, and on the call for this one will be Kenny Albert, Jonathan Vilma, and Shannon Spake. By the way, I did mention Houston as a 3-point favorite in the last game. That's right. When it comes to this one, New England opening up as a 3-point favorite. Series history favors the Washington Commanders. Washington leads the all-time series 6-5. However, the New England Patriots have won each of the last 4 meetings in a row against the Washington Commanders. Last meeting was 2019 in Washington. New England won going away 33-7. 2015, their last meeting in New England won 27-10. Commanders last beat the Patriots overall back in 2003 in Washington, 20-17, and their last win in Foxborough got to go all the way back to 1996 when they were the Washington Redskins, and they defeated the New England Patriots 27-22. So here we go. Washington's last visit to New England came in November 2015. Something will have to give in this matchup, considering that the Commanders ranked 31st in the NFL in average points allowed, 28.5, while the Mac Jones-led Patriots ranked 31st in points scored, 14.8. Furthermore, the Sam Howell-led Commanders are 31st in sacks allowed at 41, but the Patriots' defense is just 30th in sacks with 15. A Washington receiver will finally produce a 100-yard game for the first time this season. Over the last 5 weeks, New England ranks last in the NFL in opposing QBR at just about 70. The Patriots have allowed the 30th most passing yards during this stretch. Some of that stems from offenses they faced, Dallas, Miami, and Buffalo. And some of that is due to injuries and a lack of a pass rush. Commanders receivers Terry McLaurin at 90 yards and Jahan Dotson at 99 have come close to the 100-yard mark this season, but Sunday will be the day. The Patriots are 0-4 outside of the AFC East, the only team in the NFL without a non-divisional win. They have had 6 consecutive non-divisional losses dating back to Week 15 of last season against Las Vegas. This is the team's longest such streak since losing 7 straight in 1995. The X factor is Sam Howell. He has completed 75.3% of his passes targeting the middle of the field, with 11 explosive play throws. And he'll have more opportunities to rip the ball up the seams against the Patriots' cover 2 and cover 3 zones. Commanders' opponents average 257 passing yards a game and 7.5 yards per attempt. On Sunday, the Patriots' passing game should find some success. Commanders are 3-0 against the spread as road underdogs this season, 2-1 outright. New England is a slight FPI favorite, 56% are going with the New England Patriots. But with all due respect, I kind of disagree with that. I got to go with the Washington Commanders to win this game. I'm going to say 27-20. The Washington Commanders defeat the New England Patriots. But if New England were to win, I wouldn't be surprised because look what they did against Buffalo a couple weeks ago. Nobody gave them a chance against Buffalo, and look what they did. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. So, but I'm going with Washington for right now, though. 27-20. So with that, MF, Washington, they've lost 4 straight against New England. I say they snapped that streak. What says you?
I hate to say this, but I disagree. I think it's going to be 5 in a row. I look, I get it what a lot of people are going after. A lot of people are talking about how New England is this and that. Yeah, I mean, Michael Bullock knows better than anybody else the media of the New England Patriots and how crazy it's been in the last, I want to say, couple of weeks, especially after the loss with Miami, how they're really flipping out about so many different things. Look, I think the Patriots are fine. They're going to be all right. What happened with Miami was they played good, they played solid, but they just didn't get the job done. So I don't know what to expect or what to say. At the end of the day, give me you got to give me the right to say this, but I think New England wins. I think they bounce back, they get a good victory. If they play like they played against Buffalo, and the thing is, they played very good against Miami. They played solid against the Dolphins. There was a couple of moments where they looked really good early on in the game. Remember, they got that interception that led to the touchdown. That throw from Mac Jones to Kendrick Bourne was a thing of beauty. It was a perfect pass, wide open. That Dolphins D fell asleep on that play, and trust me, I was not happy. So I think New England has a right. They can handle the job, and I think they could win it. So I really don't know what to say. So at the end of the day, I do believe that the New England Patriots will figure it out a way. They'll get the job done. They're winning this game. I got really nothing more to say. So, Michael Bullock, your team, the New England Patriots. What says you, my friend?
What says me? I mean, I'm actually am going to go with my team because here's the thing. I mean, the Commanders, they traded away like some of their best their best defenders, including Chase Young. I mean, that could play a role in this. So, and this could be the perfect opportunity for Mac Jones to really finally get that win that they need. I mean, and repeat that performance from Buffalo. But I've been hearing so many rumors, guys, and hear me out when I say this. Some people are saying that this game could, if the Patriots were somehow to lose to the Commanders, that this could be the final straw. And you know, I know people are saying that, oh, Belichick got that new contract, that he should that he's going to be fine. But if they lose here, you know, New England fans are going to be like, we don't care about that new freaking contract he got. We want this guy gone. I don't care if it's during the season. We need change right here, right now. You know that's going to come out throughout the week, but I'm going to say this to Patriot fans and to all those who have been calling for Belichick's head during the season. I'm going to say it once, and I'm going to say it again. And Fletch, I know you'll agree with me on this. Bill Belichick has earned the right to finish the season. He's earned that right. Finish the season, and then Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick, I think they'll talk it out during the off season, and then he'll say, Belichick, it hasn't gone good for us these last few years. I mean, we'll let you remain the coach, but we need an actual general manager. And if Belichick's not going to agree to it, then it's time for them to go their separate ways. So to all the people, including one guy who I can't stand, and I know Florio can't stand either. Yeah, I'm saying this to you, Adam Jones of WEEI. Let Bill Belichick finish the season, and then we'll see what happens in the off season. If they decide to get rid of Belichick during the season, then that's the Robert Kraft. Basically, he's giving in to the pressure of the New England media, and that to me is not right, and it's not fair. Period. And a quotation and a statement. Patriots win. It's yours, Florio.
Final early game of the week. It's on our side of the ledger, and this game came in at number 7 on that side of the ledger. Cross flex game. The Chicago Bears squaring off against the New Orleans Saints from the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. You can find this game over on CBS, and on the call for that one will be Andrew Catalan, Tiki Barber, Matt Ryan, and AJ Ross. It is. Oh, it went up on me again. Just give me a moment here. Try to find it. All right. New Orleans opening up as an 8.5-point favorite. Series history, it favors the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans leads the all-time series 17-13. And here's the thing, guys, including playoffs, the New Orleans Saints have won 7 straight meetings against the Chicago Bears. Their last meeting was a wild. New Orleans won in the Superdome 21-9. Their last meeting overall was 2020 in the regular season. Saints won in Chicago 26-23 in overtime. Last meeting in New Orleans, regular season-wise, 2017. Saints won that game 20-12. The last time the Chicago Bears won at the New Orleans Saints, the New Orleans Saints weren't playing in New Orleans. They were playing in Baton Rouge because of Hurricane Katrina, 2005. Last time the Bears won in New Orleans, actually in the Superdome, got to go all the way back to 1991, 20-17. The last time they beat the Saints overall was 2008 in Chicago, 27-24 in overtime. I believe MF starts off on this one. So MF, Chicago and New Orleans, our number 7 game of the week. Your thoughts?
Honestly and truthfully, I'll say this. I believe New Orleans wins it. Look, Chicago, man, they are not a good squad. They're not a good team. I've seen a lot of better things than anything else. But at the end, I don't believe that you know, I just feel that New Orleans is probably the better squad, and they've turned it around. From the minute that they brought Alvin Kamara back and the way he's been playing lately, I've been very high on New Orleans, and I like what I see. Defensively, they've gotten a little better. Offensively, they've gotten a lot more sharper because now they can establish a running game that puts less pressure on Derek Carr. And not only that, but I just feel like the team is a little better. You still got Taysom Hill, the Swiss Army knife. You got Michael Thomas. If they just kind of figure it out, they will win this game. I got nothing more to say. So give me the respect, and let me say, give me the Saints to win it, and nothing more to say. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Saints as well. I mean, like you said, with the yeah, it's been very tough for the Chicago Bears here. I mean, yeah, just when you think maybe things were going to start to turn around for them, it just goes the exact opposite way. So there's nothing more to say. I got the Saints winning. It's yours, Florio.
The Saints offense might have started to click, putting up more than 400 net yards in the last 3 games and scoring their highest point total of the season, 38, against Indianapolis last week. They'll face a Chicago defense that is coming off a game in which it gave up 30 points to the LA Chargers. So New Orleans will have a good chance of building off its offensive momentum. New Bears pass rusher Montez Sweat will play just 5 days after getting traded to Chicago and record his first 2-sack game of the season against the Saints offensive line that has fielded 5 different combinations this season. Saints quarterback Derek Carr has had 3 straight games with at least 300 passing yards, tying the second longest streak of his NFL career. He had a run of 5 straight, spanning the 2020 and 2021 seasons. The X factor is Saints running back Alvin Kamara. The Bears have played zone coverage on almost 65% of opponent dropbacks, which creates space underneath for Kamara to attack open turf off backfield releases and show off his catch and run traits. Chicago's defense gives up the 3rd most fantasy points a game to quarterbacks, which bodes well for Derek Carr. Overs are 16-9 in Chicago games under coach Matt Eberflus, the highest over percentage in the NFL the last 2 seasons. Unders are 17-8 in New Orleans games in that span, tied for the 3rd highest under percentage. FPI loves New Orleans in this one, 67% going with the New Orleans Saints. I'm going with the New Orleans Saints. 28-14, New Orleans over Chicago. Late games now, we got 3 of them. 4:05 on CBS. It's our number 8 game of the week. The Indianapolis Colts squaring off against the Carolina Panthers from Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. You can find this game on CBS. And it will be MF's boy, Kevin Harlan, along with Trent Green and Melanie Collins. They will be in Charlotte for this one. And Indianapolis opening up as a 2.5-point favorite. Their last Carolina leads the all-time series 5-2. However, Indianapolis won their last meeting in 2019 in Indianapolis. Indy won going away, 38-6 beatdown. Last meeting in Charlotte, 2015, Carolina won the game 29-26 in sudden death overtime. Indianapolis has only won in Charlotte once, and that was back in 2007 when Indy won 31-7. So just wanted to let you boys know that. So, wait a minute. Michael Bullock, did you give your thoughts on Chicago and New Orleans? I just wanted to be sure. I think I got a little ahead of myself. I apologize.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay. All right. I just wanted to be 100% sure. I thought I might have jumped the gun, but okay. All right. So I covered all the schematics for Indy and Carolina. So just give me a moment here as I get the rotation here. 1, 2, 3. Michael Bullock, you actually lead off on this one. Number 8 game of the week, the Indianapolis Colts and the Carolina Panthers to kick off the late afternoon slate.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, with Carolina, it's been a rough go around for them. I mean, it was going to be tough for them with this team. Bryce Young's still learning, so it's all about Gardner Minshew when it comes to the Colts here. So I got the Colts winning this one. So it's yours for you.
Panthers coach Frank Reich is facing the team that fired him 9 games into last season. And this game has a slight chance to be entertaining. The Colts have given up an average of 38 points during a 3-game losing streak. Quarterback Bryce Young and the Panthers are finding themselves offensively with no turnovers in the last 2 games. But this could come down to the running game. Indianapolis ranks 9th in the NFL, averaging 129 rushing yards, while Carolina ranks 29th in rush defense, giving up 139.4 yards a game. The Colts will rush for a season-high 200 yards or more, with Coach Shane Steichen finally fully embracing the running game as a primary means of attack. Jonathan Taylor has been steadily heating up in the last couple of weeks, while Zach Moss continues to build on his fast start. Colts quarterback Gardner Minshew has turned the ball over 9 times since week 6, the most in the NFL. He has thrown an interception in 3 consecutive games and is looking to avoid being the first Colts quarterback with an interception in 4 consecutive games since Andrew Luck in 2014. The X factor is Jonathan Taylor. He is averaging 5.7 yards a carry on rushes outside of the tackles, and his workload should increase versus Carolina. The Panthers defense allows the second most fantasy points a game to running backs. Panthers are 1-5-1 against the spread this season, the only team in the NFL to not cover multiple games this season. They are 1-1-1 against the spread at home. Unders are 3-0. 60% going with the Indianapolis Colts. I'm going with the Indianapolis Colts. 28-20. Indianapolis steals one in Charlotte. So not much more for me to say. MF, Indy and Carolina, number 8 game of the week for us.
Tough game to call, no doubt about it, but I'm going to give Indianapolis the opportunity here. I think they're a really good squad. So at the end of the day, I believe it's going to be, you know, I gotta say, you know, I like the choice here. So I'm with you guys. Indianapolis wins. Anthony, it's yours.
All right, we move on to the 425 games. We got 2 of them. We'll get to the big one in a moment, but we got to get the other one out of the way first. The New York Giants squaring off against the Las Vegas Raiders from the home of Super Bowl 58 next February, Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. You can find this game, like I said, over on Fox, and on the call for that game will be Kevin Kugler, Mark Sanchez, and Laura Oakman. The Raiders, believe it or not, the Raiders are opening up as a 1.5-point favorite. Series history favors the Las Vegas Raiders 8-6. Last meeting was 2021 in New York. Giants won 23-16. The last time the Raiders were the home team, they were the Oakland Raiders back in 2017, and the Raiders won that game 24-17. The Giants have not won at the Raiders since winning in Oakland back in 2005, 30-21. So not much more to say here. I believe I start this one off. So all right. What else is there to say, guys? I mean, the Raiders have undergone a complete blow up here. Major blow up for the Raiders. Antonio Pierce won a Super Bowl with the New York Giants. He was named to a Pro Bowl playing linebacker for the New York Giants. And now he makes his debut as an NFL interim head coach going against the New York Giants while leading the team he grew up rooting for in Los Angeles. No wonder he started his first practice to the musical strains of seminal rap group NWA's Straight Outta Compton. As Raiders owner Mark Davis told ESPN, he doesn't necessarily want Pierce to, quote-unquote, coach the Raiders so much as, quote-unquote, lead them against the Giants as the Raiders try to reboot their season. Giants running back Saquon Barkley will rush for 150 yards. He is playing an enormous number of snaps, 90% last week against the Jets, and gets to face a run defense allowing 140 yards a game. This is a matchup for him to excel, especially because he's running behind an offensive line getting back both its starting tackles. The Raiders have won 2 straight home games after losing their home opener in Week 3 to Pittsburgh. They have not won 3 straight at home since moving to Las Vegas in 2020. The X factor is the Giants' blitz concepts. Wink Martindale's defense has a blitz rate of 43%, second highest in the league, and the Giants have racked up 10 sacks in their last 2 games. Now they get rookie quarterback Aiden O'Connell. With O'Connell as the Raiders starter, receiver Devontae Adams should stockpile targets against the Giants. Over the course of his career, the veteran receiver has averaged nearly 2 fantasy points a target. Giants games are 7-1 to the under this season, with 7 straight unders. The 875 under percentage is tied with Minnesota for the highest in the NFL. And all 3 Raider home games have gone under the total this season. FPI likes the Giants here. 59% going with the Giants. I'm going with the Giants. I think the Giants win this one going away. 23-6, the New York Giants over the Las Vegas Raiders. So not much more to say here. MF, let's be realistic. Both teams are a mess, but honestly, what a mess in Vegas right now. Josh McDaniels fired. Antonio Pierce, now the interim man. Jimmy G has been benched for Aiden O'Connell. Oh boy, not a good time to be in that black hole right now. Oh boy.
No, not at all. But could this be a sign of things to come? Could this be a momentum shift? We don't know. At the end of the day, yes, I totally agree. Um, this was not good at all. But at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do, and you got to make the most of every situation. So. I got the Giants winning as well. I don't think there's really not much for me to say here. So yeah, Bullock, I guess it goes to you. So your thoughts.
Yeah, both teams are not good right now. I mean, but the Raiders are really bad. I mean, Josh McDaniels gets fired. Uh, Antonio Pierce takes over as the interim coach. Their GM gets fired. Their offensive coordinator gets fired. And Aiden O'Connell's now going to be the starter for the rest of the season. So it looks like a sign of things to come for this team. So yeah, I got the Giants winning this one. So now let's get to the big one here, Florio.
Yep.
You
All
can
right. Yep.
you
I'm
can
here.
make
Go ahead.
you can make an argument that this is the first of a double main event.
Oh yeah. We got 3 games left, but these next 2 are big ones. The final game is a middle of the road kind of thing. But all right, we talked about how Miami and Kansas City is the big game on the AFC side. Well, here's the big game on the NFC side. Huge implications in the NFC East and maybe in the NFC altogether, if you really think about it. First meeting this season between these 2 NFC East division rivals. America's Game of the Week on Fox. The Dallas Cowboys squaring off against the Philadelphia Eagles, Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. Kevin Burkhardt, Greg Olson, Aaron Andrews, Tom Rinaldi. They will be in the Yellow Dell for this one. And the spread favors Philadelphia. Philadelphia opening up as a 3-point favorite. Dallas leads the all-time series 70-54. They split last season, both teams winning at home. So Philadelphia won at home against Dallas last year, 26-17. Dallas's last win in Philadelphia was the year before, 2021, 51-26 beatdown. So there's no question about it. MF, come on in. You'll be leading off on America's Game of the Week for Fox. If we were on the other side of the ledger, this would have been our game, hands down. Huge game in the NFC East, and maybe in the grand scheme of things in the NFC. 2 of the best, Dallas, Philadelphia, squaring off in the Yellow Delph as part of America's Game of the Week on Fox. So, MF, Dallas, and Philly, first of 2 this season. Who you got?
This is gonna be insane, man. This is gonna be wild. Great matchup, great battle with everything riding on it. Um, huh. Beginning of the year, I kind of have to feel like this was Philadelphia, but now I don't know. I mean, Philly's been inconsistent. Dallas looked amazing the last game out. Oh my God. Did everybody see what Dallas did to the Rams? Um, Look, at the end of the day, I think it's going to be a close game. This could end up being like that battle with Miami and Kansas City. A hard fight all the way to the end. I got really nothing more to say. I believe when it's all said and done, give me the Philadelphia Eagles to eke out a very close victory more than anything else. So, yes, I got Philly winning. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, this is a big one here in the NFC East. I mean, this game could literally determine who comes out and wins that division. I mean, this one could go either way. I mean, that's how big this is. But I gotta go with the Philadelphia Eagles to win this. I mean, they're the better team. I mean, look, would it surprise me if Dallas were to come out and win this one? I wouldn't be surprised, but in the end, I just think Philadelphia is the better team. So it's yours, Florio.
Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott did not play against each other last season because of injuries. Prescott was sidelined for the Eagles' win in the first game, and Jalen Hurts was out for Dallas's win later in the year. Both quarterbacks come into this highly anticipated division matchup fresh off 4 touchdown performances in their last outing. They lead 2 of the most prolific scoring teams in football. Dallas ranks second in points per game with 28.1. Philadelphia is third at 28 even. A.J. Brown's streak of 125 yards receiving will come to an end at 6 games, but that does not mean he will not go for 100 yards. He and Devontae Smith were the last receivers to have more than 100 yards against Dallas, doing so last December. This year, the Cowboys have not allowed more than 86 yards receiving in a game to a wide receiver, so it will be tough. Prescott has fared extremely well against the NFC East, going 28-7 in his career. It's not just the wins and losses. Prescott has thrown 61 touchdown passes to 19 interceptions in those 35 division starts. Only Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes have a better touchdown to interception ratio in division games since the 1970 merger, a minimum of 25 starts. The X factor is Eagles tight end Dallas Goedert. The Eagles will see heavy man coverage from the Cowboys on third down, and they can deploy Goedert underneath to work away from coverage against safety Jaron Kearse. Watch for him to run some crossing routes here and find success. The Eagles' defense has allowed the 7th most passing yards a game, but against the Philadelphia defensive front that ranks second in run-stop win rate, running backs are scoring the fewest fantasy points a game. Cowboys are 14-7 against the spread on the road over the last 3 seasons. Second best road against the spread record in the NFL. Only the Cincinnati Bengals are better at 15-6. Guys, you want to talk about the I'm going to tell you right now. When I saw the FPI for this game, I couldn't believe my eyes. Wait until you hear this. They give the FPI to Philadelphia. You ready for this, gentlemen? Listen to this. 49.9% by an average of 0 points. Wow. Okay. I got Philadelphia winning. High scoring game. Fun game. I'm going to say 35-28. Philadelphia defeats Dallas. Primetime games now. It's Sunday Night Football on NBC. And for us, it's our number 3 game of the week. Another highly anticipated game of the week. My Buffalo Bills squaring off against the Cincinnati Bengals from Paycor Stadium, formerly Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati on NBC. You know who's working it as always. Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, and Melissa Stark. Cincinnati opening up as a 1.5-point favorite. Buffalo leads the all-time series 17-13. Last meeting, of course, was the AFC divisional playoff in Buffalo. Cincinnati went into Buffalo and made themselves at home. 27-10 beat down in that one. Last regular season meeting was 2019 in Buffalo. Buffalo won 21-17. Last regular season meeting in Cincinnati was 2017. Cincinnati won that game 20-16. Buffalo's last win in Cincinnati was 2016, 16-12. Ugly game there. So nothing more to say here. Michael Bullock, you lead it off here. Our number 3 game of the week. The Buffalo Bills to the Cincinnati Bengals. First time since that divisional playoff game where Cincinnati had their way with Buffalo on that cold, snowy day in Buffalo. But let's not forget, Bullock, as we started with you, it's the first time these two teams have gotten together in Cincinnati since what will forever be the scariest moment in NFL history with Damar Hamlin, the second day of this calendar year.
Yeah, you could only imagine what the emotions are going to be like going into this game. I mean, the first time both of these teams will be playing in Cincinnati since that scary night when Damar Hamlin collapsed. And yeah, I remember watching that, and I'm like thinking, what's going on here? And as soon as I heard what he had, I'm like thinking, gosh, I really hope he survives this. And he's made a miraculous recovery. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be an emotional night. But once that ball's kicked off, it's all about that competition, boys. So yeah, so this should be a really good game here. So, but in the end, I'm going to go with I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals to win this one. So it is yours, Florio.
Well, forgive me, my thing pushed up again. It does an automatic refresh. All right. Cincinnati's defense is going up against one of the NFL's best quarterbacks. Buffalo's Josh Allen leads the league in total QBR, 77.1, and completion percentage, 71.7%. And Allen ranks third with 17 passing touchdowns entering Sunday night's game. The Bengals are on a 3-game winning streak, and their defense has improved. Since week 5, they rank 6th in opposing total QBR at 40.4, and are first in turnovers forced per drive at almost 23%. Josh Allen will throw at least 2 interceptions. He has thrown an interception in each of the last 4 games, and it's going against the Cincinnati defense that has forced 10 interceptions, third most in the NFL. In addition, he is dealing with a right shoulder injury that led to limiting the amount he throws leading up to the game, including not participating in practice Wednesday. Allen has been extremely difficult to bring down when pressured, posting the second lowest sack rate in the league. The Bengals defense will look to change that Sunday night. Cincinnati ranks 12th in pressure rate this season. The X factor is Bengals cornerback Mike Hilton. With his deployment on slot pressures, the Bengals can manipulate the Bills' protection schemes to create open pass rushing lanes for Hilton to disrupt the pocket. Running back Joe Mixon and the Bengals' running game are positioned to have success against the Bills' defense that has allowed the 8th most rushing yards and 12th most fantasy points per game. The Bills are 0-4 against the spread in their last 4 games, tied for their longest against the spread losing streak in the last 40 seasons. Their last 5-game against the spread losing streak was in 1976-77, 6 straight. Speaking of FPI stat, I can't believe my eyes. With all due respect to ESPN and the people behind the FPI, how in the world is Buffalo a 67% favorite? That is ridiculous. You kidding me? 67% for Buffalo? No, absolutely not. Not against Cincinnati. Are you kidding me? It should be the other way around. Cincinnati should be the 67% favorite. Cincinnati's winning this game. And they're gonna, they got their mojo back. We always ask the question, would we be surprised if certain teams won games? I'm gonna level with you folks. If Buffalo somehow wins this game, I actually would be surprised. I really would. I have zero confidence about this game. There's no question about it. If Damar Hamlin didn't have what happened to him happen, Cincinnati was going to run Buffalo out of Paycor Stadium on that Monday night, and they would have manhandled them. But then again, they saved it for the divisional round. But here's the thing: they're not going to pick them. They're not going to pick Buffalo up and toss them around like Cabbage Patch dolls. They're not. Buffalo's going to hang with these guys. I think we're going to get a close competitive game. But at the end of the day, as much as I want my Buffalo Bills to win, and you better believe I want this game. Believe me. I've got revenge on my mind. Buffalo's got revenge on their mind. They have not forgotten about what Cincinnati did to us on that cold, snowy day in January. We have not forgotten. We have never forgotten. But at the end of the day, I got to be realistic, and I got to be professional here. I got the Cincinnati Bengals winning this game. 33-30, high-scoring game. but Cincinnati's going to pull it out. I absolutely would not be surprised if Cincinnati won this game. But if Buffalo wins, I would damn sure be surprised, considering how very good Cincinnati is and considering that they've got their mojo back. So they stumbled out of the gate. But if this was earlier in the year, if this was during when they were the Bungles, I would have loved the chances. But now, I absolutely don't. Buffalo's been knocking on trouble's door, as I say. They've been knocking on trouble's door by playing these ridiculously close games, stressing me the F out. I know I'm going to be in for a long night on Sunday night, but then again, I wouldn't have it any other way. So, may the best team win. Simple. But at the end, I have to go with Cincinnati. Pains me to do it, but I got to do it. 33-30, Cincinnati wins. So there isn't much more to say. MF, Buffalo, and Cincinnati. Number 3 game of the week. Another game that easily could have been our game here, but the first time since we personally witnessed what we still consider the scariest moment in NFL history with Damar Hamlin on that Monday night. First time since the playoff game. I know you got Cincinnati, but just level with everybody why you do.
Because I believe Cincinnati is fully all the way around, and Buffalo is still sputtering. They were very fortunate to beat Tampa Bay about a week ago. It wasn't the most convincing performance at all, and it makes me waver a lot more than I have in recent weeks. You know, I feel like Buffalo has never really found themselves since that loss against Jacksonville. I think that loss the invincibility of Buffalo was lost. I don't believe they're as invincible as a lot of people thought they were. And I kind of feel like with the way Cincinnati's been playing, and especially after they took out the 49ers, that was the moment that I felt like that's it. This team is for real. They are a real threat. And there's really no argument to go beyond that. So that's why I felt the way that I feel right now about Cincinnati. So I got the Bengals winning. Anthony, it's yours.
Damn it to hell! It was hard for me to do that, but I have no choice.
Yeah.
I swear, I heard it wasn't Edge that was screaming at me to wake up. It was you, MF. I clearly heard you. So, and you're like, well, you woke up. Good for you. I'm glad you're finally realizing it. You better believe I realized.
And the thing was that after the Miami game, everybody was on Buffalo's side. Everybody was saying, "Oh, Buffalo's back. They're here we go. They're the threat. This and that." But I've been noticing, and the thing is, I've been watching Buffalo very carefully, and I'm like, this is not the same team.
London killed us.
London, you had the London game. The near scare with the Giants, where I thought you should have lost that game.
Even I admit they should have lost.
Then you lose to New England.
No excuse.
And then have a near scare again with Tampa Bay. This last month of football for the Buffalo Bills has been like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. You don't know what you're going to get. Where with Cincinnati, Cincinnati has been, at the very beginning, and you can even admit it was because Burrow was hurt. Burrow was definitely legitimately hurt. There's no doubt in my mind.
They were the Bungles.
Huh?
They at the start, when they stumbled out of the gate, they were the Bungles.
Yeah.
Not
but
anymore.
The thing was, they finally figured it out. They've got Mixon is starting to play better than he did. Jamar Chase is starting to look like that top level wide receiver that a lot of people thought that he was. Tyler Boyd's been really good lately. The defense has gotten better. And then the statement win over the Niners.
Yes.
When they took San Fran out in Santa Clara at Levi, that was the moment where we all were like, uh-oh.
They're back.
They're back. And now
Not the time to
Buffalo,
get them. Not the time for us to have 'em.
Buffalo sputtering, having issues. You don't know what you're getting. And now you're running into probably the team you don't want to face right about now.
Last team I wanted to face.
Yeah. I mean,
But
this is an open and shut case, at least for me.
Is. And don't be surprised if Cincinnati ends up winning comfortably. Don't be surprised if that happens.
They did it. Remember that playoff game about a year ago when they were going up against Buffalo in that snow.
Yeah.
They were very comfortable and won pretty handily.
I wouldn't be surprised if that happens again here. But here's the big question, though, before we put it to bed and move on to the final game. What if Buffalo were to somehow win? Then what?
If Buffalo wins, it softens the blow. It actually makes Buffalo, a lot of people will say, all right, Buffalo is back. And then we just got to see how it plays out beyond that. But if Buffalo wins, that's a humongous win for Buffalo. Yeah, that's a great outcome for Buffalo because it would definitely open a lot of people's eyes.
Okay, fair enough. So, but it will be most interesting to see what happens on Sunday night in our number 3 game of the week. So with that being said, let's move on to the final game of the night, which is our number 5 game of the week. Monday Night Football on ESPN, and it will feature the Los Angeles Chargers squaring off against the New York Jets from MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, in the Meadowlands. Monday Night Football, you know who's working that as always. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Lisa Salters. The Chargers opening up as 3.5-point favorites. Chargers lead the all-time series with the Jets, 23-12, with one tie. Their last meet, and matter of fact, the Chargers have won each of the last 4 meetings against the Jets. Last meeting was 2020 in LA. Chargers won 34-28. Last meeting in New York, 2017. Chargers won 14-7. The Jets have not beaten the Chargers overall and at home since 2011, 27-21. That was the final there. So I believe I take this last one for a spin first. So here we go. It's the Jets' stingy defense, 18.4 points a game, versus another member of the mega-rich quarterback club, Justin Herbert. Against Buffalo's Josh Allen at $258 million, Kansas City's Patrick Mahomes, $450 million, and Philadelphia's Jalen Hurts, $255 million. The Jets recorded 8 interceptions and quote-unquote embarrassed those quarterbacks, according to their coach, Robert Saleh. Herbert, at $262.5 million, is coming off one of his best games, narrowly missing his 25th 300-yard passing day with 298 last Sunday night against Chicago. Jets receiver Garrett Wilson will have 150 yards receiving. The Chargers have been among the worst pass defenses in the NFL, allowing the most passing yards a game in the NFL, 297 by a significant margin. The Chargers have particularly struggled with top receivers, including Dallas's CeeDee Lamb, 7 catches for 117 yards, and Minnesota's Justin Jefferson, 7 catches, 149 yards, and a touchdown. Wilson could be next in line for a big day. Herbert has been one of the league's best quarterbacks against the blitz, posting a 90 QBR with 10 passing touchdowns to 2 interceptions, but has struggled to put up similar numbers against the standard pass rush. He'll look to change that on Monday Night Football against the Jets, who blitz at the second lowest rate of any defense in the NFL this season. The X factor is play-action passing. Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert has completed 75% of his passes on play-action this season, with a total QBR of 85. That will be key against the Jets' split safety coverages. Chargers defense allows the 3rd most fantasy points a game to wide receivers. Wilson has averaged 1.4 fantasy points a target during his career, which is great news for fantasy managers looking to capitalize on this matchup. Chargers are 0-3 outright and against the spread against teams over 500 this season. But the FPI likes the Chargers. 60% going with the Chargers. Close game with the Chargers as 3.5-point favorites. I'm going to take a chance and go with the Chargers. I'm going to say 24-21. Chargers steal one at MetLife on Monday night. But I would not be surprised if the Jets were to somehow win this one. But I got to go with the LA Chargers for right now. 24-21. MF, Chargers and Jets to close out the Week 9 slate Monday night.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting matchup, no doubt about it. I kind of feel the same way. I feel like the Chargers are going to win this one as well. It's not going to be the most convincing victory, but it's going to be pretty close. So there's really nothing more to say. So yeah, Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Take us home, Bullock. Bullock, are you there? Oh, I think we may have lost him for that. So
That's all right.
it's the end. It's the end anyway. So
Yeah.
All right. So unless we get Bullock back in a moment or so, we will go ahead and put the bow on this Week 9 edition of TXN Sports World NFL Friday. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as always. MF, special start time, 10 p.m. tomorrow night, correct?
Yes, it is.
All right. Cerebral Smack Talk. We got a big show. We got Friday Night SmackDown. We got AEW Collision. And I also heard WWE Crown Jewel. Is that correct, MF?
Yes, we are going to do Crown Jewel as well.
Awesome. All right. So that'll all be tomorrow night, our review, and the Crown Jewel will be the main event. So unless you want to do it different. But
No. Do it the way that we've always done it. So no changes to that.
Okay. All right. Very good. So 10 special start time, 10 p.m. tomorrow night over on MF's channel, Brace Fan 95, Cerebral Smack Talk. We got Friday Night SmackDown. We got AEW Collision. And we got the WWE Crown Jewel pay-per-view. So that'll be that. And then Monday night, immediately following Raw, we do it all again with Ridiculously Raw. Monday Night Raw, the Raw fallout from Crown Jewel. We start the road to the Survivor Series. And on top of that, a special Tony's Take. It's going to be all about Impact Wrestling. I'm not only going to get into the Impact show from last night, but they also had an Impact Plus special that was unbeknownst to me called Turning Point. I'm going to have the results of that on Monday night. Wednesday night, 10 p.m., MF will have it, Brace Fan 95, Wednesday Night Madness, NXT, AEW Dynamite, and we got a stinker of a Thursday Night Football game, a zonk game between the Carolina Panthers and the Chicago Bears.
How on earth did the NFL schedule makers allow this to happen?
And you got to feel bad for the man, the myth, the legend, Al Michaels.
Yeah.
And you also got to feel for Herbie too. For Kirk Herbstreit.
And Kaylee Hartung, man. They got
a
a
lovely one.
No, man.
Lovely one.
Why, guys?
And who knows? It could be a cold night in Chicago on Thursday. You don't know.
Yeah.
It's getting on that time of the season. So.
It's almost.
Yeah. So reluctantly we will preview that on Wednesday night. Thursday night, 10 p.m. Tone 25, the Week 11 edition of College Football Thursday. We got another smorgasbord Saturday type of affair here. You got Michigan against Penn State. You got USC against Oregon. You got Washington and Utah. You've also got the renewal of one of MF's all-time favorite rivalries, Miami and Florida State.
Oh,
brings back a lot of memories for you, MF. I know it does. So, and I know you're going to be chomping at the bit to talk about that on Thursday night. Believe me. Just some of the great matchups we'll get into as part of College Football Thursday on Thursday. And then next Friday night, the Week 10 edition of NFL Friday, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Los Angeles Rams, the Miami Dolphins, and the Philadelphia Eagles will all be on bye next week. And, well, the schedule makers didn't really give us we don't really have that many exciting games. For next week's slate, notable games, we got the Indianapolis Colts and the New England Patriots in Frankfurt, Germany. We got the Cleveland Browns against the Baltimore Ravens. Houston Texans going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. San Francisco 49ers and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That could be a game. That could be the game of the week, depending.
Could be. We've also got a sleeper matchup with the Tennessee Titans and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Our game of the week could end up being the Detroit Lions against the Los Angeles Chargers. Think about that.
Yeah,
That could be our
possible.
game.
Possible.
Of course, the latest chapter in the rivalry between the New York Giants and the Dallas Cowboys. You got the Washington Commanders going up against the Seattle Seahawks. And I could consider this a sleeper matchup. The Denver Broncos against the Buffalo Bills on Monday Night Football. So that's pretty much the slate for next week. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk over on MF's channel, Race Fan 95, this is Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, for Michael Bullock, and in spirit, always and forever, the First Lady Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Saturday. And until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, you've been watching the Week 9 edition of TXN Sports World NFL Friday, right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.